Today's video is basic video on Minitab stamp. Before I could do that, let me explain that there are 19 charts we can do in Minitab, right? From the graph menu, you can do all the way from scatter plot, matrix, bubble chart, marginal histogram, commonly used, dot plot, box plot, all the way to 3D surface plot you can do, right? And here on the y-axis, it has been very beautifully been explained using x and y-axis. These are the charts, 19 charts, and you have an axis here, axis and text, where you can have that any text you want. For example, let's say you wanted to bold that outer area, you can bold it, or you wanted to extend the length, you can do that, or you wanted to have like both the one in one color. Like here, you can see the blue color. You can, if you wanted to have, you can do that, or you wanted to have simple graph also you can do that. So various way we can do that also as well. Let's go back. And similarly grid lines, like grid lines, if you wanted to see anything with grid lines, like a box or major and minor, you can find, or y-axis you can find it, or x-axis, depend upon your requirement, you can definitely do, right? So particularly when it comes to scatter and all that, both major and minor text will be very useful to easily interpret the data. And similarly, you have a reference line. Reference line is whether it's a vertically or horizontally, you can add it, right? For example, let's say this has been added vertically. Let's same thing, like if you want the same thing in the histogram, right? So let's say I'm just taking one example of histogram with fit. And let's say you want to keep that the cap. This is the one example is there, and you wanted to enter the value 18, right? After 18, it will give a reference line. It will create the reference line. Like this also you can do it. And let's go back to our original topic. So this is reference line, you can add it. Time is the one, like Minitab identifies that column as a time. So time, anything like for example, date you have, that Minitab will refer that as a D. Similarly, if you have, the time, for example, you have anything like, let's say you have your time is 2:20. Okay. And again, Minitab will label that column as a D for time. Anything of that sort, anything date characteristic, anything, Minitab will identify as a D, right? So this is one. And then furthermore, and y-axis you have, the y-axis basically like in the plot, like for example, the one which supports it. I'm just clicking here with an example. Let's say this is y-axis probability plot, right? And let's go back to the main topic, right? So like this you can also have, right, and percentile and all that, right? So this is the one. And more importantly, I'm going to talk about how to stamp the value. The word stamp in Minitab is that any x value you have, for example, you have a month, and you have a, generally it has been given as a number, right? For example, you have 1, 2, 3, and all the way to 12-month data you have. And then let's say this is sales data you have. And then you wanted to represent, instead of normal index is 1, 2, 3 and all that, it goes, or any smallest value to biggest value it takes. And then it gives a rolling, that one aspect. And then you don't want this one, you wanted to go by Jan and February and all that, right? With or without writing, you can do, right? With, if you have that value, you can inherit, or if you don't have value also, we can assume and you can do it. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate that also as well. Okay, let's go and take this area graph as an example, right? Sorry, time chart as an example. So in time chart, we are going to take an example of a simple example. So new market, you can see here, this is what I was trying to tell. So here we have an example like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then you have the year again, year and quarter. And again, if you wanted to substitute by month and all that, you can easily do that. How to do that? So let's say this is a new market.mtw. You are a sales manager. You want to view the company quarterly sales for Q1 2001 to 2003. Create a time series chart. So new market. I'm just going in file, open worksheet, and let's say look in Minitab sample data folder, and I'll just type it here. Open up. So the data has been opened up. So we're interested only this one, right? So let's delete everything, or I'll keep it this month also as well. Let's say if we later we need a month, we can just keep it a month also. The rest of the other one, I will just delete this one. Okay. So now let's say we have quarter, year, and sales, how much sale. This is main variable for us, and then date we have, and then we have a date month, right? So D refers to date. This is been referred as a text, and then we have this. So let's go ahead and do that. Go to graph and go to time series plot. Have a click on this. Let's take simple one. Go and take it. And then sales is the variable for us, and you have a time slash scale. Have a click on this. So generally speaking, when you say index, so Minitab will pick it up as 1, 2, 3, right? So you see here, and 1, 2, 3 all the way to 12-month data. So it goes, no, you don't need a 12-month like this. So you want to change it by this one. How to do? That's what we are going to learn that. So go to time, and then you have a calendar. In the calendar, again, let's say you wanted to say month example, right? So month you wanted to start with Jan. So one mean Jan, right? And let's say you wanted to start by fiscal year, you can give 4, right? So give okay, give okay. You see that we have not typed anything like Jan, Feb, and all that, but it has taken automatically like Jan to this one, right? So this is a very easy way we can get. Let's assume that you wanted to add a little bit more detail actually. Let's say in the time series, let's say you wanted to add, let's month and quarter. Let's say month is starting is one, first month is Jan, and quarter is one, right? So let's say it will also will label that also as well, like you can see here. So Jan, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, right? And then let's say you don't want to start by that, you want to start by fourth month. That is, let's say you just calculate things in the a fiscal year, still you can do that. So see, it is April, and then let's say you wanted to start again, align to that, you wanted to start. So again, you can change that also as well, right? So this is how we can easily do that also as well. Let's say, so this is just a 12-month data, and then it has been divided into quarter. Let's go back and then change back to first month. Let it be calendar year. So we can just do that one. It is very easy to read and interpret the data, right? So let's assume that you have more data, right? So how to do with the more data, right? So let's say you have the data, like this is the year. You have a year and you wanted to stamp that year, right? So how to do? Control E, and now I'm doing it a little bit differently, like stamp, right? So in stamp, let's say you're not allowing Minitab to take it to default, but you're dictating Minitab that what value to be picked in, right? For example, let's say year, I'm taking it, and now I'm just taking stamping it this value. You can see here, this is the one, and then furthermore, like it has given 2000, and but it does not have a more variable, right? So what you can do is that again you can go and then year, and then you wanted to add a quarter example, right? And now it gives a little bit more detail, right? So which quarter we are talking about and all. Let's say you wanted to add month also, you can do that. So let's say you wanted to add a month, you can do that. So it gives like a full picture, like this one I can compare, like and all that, right? So this is how we can easily do that. So let's say that you have more data and you wanted to understand and do that one, how to do it. Let's say control E, I'm just giving it, I'm just going and clicking on help. In the help menu, I'm just clicking on time one, and in that you have a time, and this one I'm going back to the original topic, right? So like this we can easily create this one time and all that. So let's say we can take one more example of area chart. Here they have not given any value, so let's take that one, right? So let's say, so again you have area, and using the stamp, that means the value is already given, and from there you are taking it. And let's say you see that the value is already given, from there you are taking it and just going back to the main topic. example, and then custom start time, right? If you wanted to custom that one, let's say Jan. Now this is very useful, right? Let's take this example also as well. That called custom variable. So you can manage it and it will give a good information, right? So graph name is exh graph, and the variable we are going to discuss is that the series is depth, right? Okay, and just looking here, file, open worksheet, and click here, open that up. Okay, so whenever EAXH is there, so Minitab provides a lots of data, right? So we are interested only in depth, right? So take that up. I'll keep it in here. Okay. So let's say this 16 data point is there, and that data point we can convert into different thing, right? Say for example, 1.5 year data point is there, right? And 1 year and 1 quarter data point is there, right? So like 5 quarters data points we have. So how to do? So go to that graph, and let's say in any chart is fine, right? So area, time chart, and so let's say you are taking it depth, and then time here slightly. Now it is tab is here, time and scale. Let's say if you want index, it will give you like 1, 2, 3. Let's say you want calendar. Let's say the day one, but it is like quarter and a month, right? Let's say this is year also involved, right? So you can give month and year example, okay? So, and then I'm just starting the month as Jan, and you see that there is no access I have, but still I can really manage it. 2024, I'm just giving an example and just giving okay. You see that the graph will fill with that example, right? Jan and Jan, right? You see that this is easily we can compare here. So Jan we were here, but initially we were here, right? We can easily compare that also as well. And then we can have that value also as well. Furthermore, I'm just customizing it. Furthermore, if you wanted to have that stamp, let's say month, year, let's say in quarter, if you wanted to add, it becomes even more interesting, right? So month is first Jan, quarter is first, and 2024. Now it will be even more interesting, right? You see that it has given good pictures. Jan is a quarter one, and then quarter two, quarter three, and then you have quarter four, and then it has given that 5 quarter detail. It has given very beautiful, right? So we can do that. Or altogether you want to skip and you wanted to have only quarter. So how to do? Then you have more flexibility to do the comparison by various things, right? So only one quarter wise you wanted to have, and so again you can do that, right? So again this quarter you wanted to attribute with year, you can do that, right? Quarter, and let's say you want to start with the 2024, we can do that, right? So this is how we can easily identify and all that, right? So and then furthermore, if you have any other variable and all that, we can easily do that. So this plays a major role. Let's go back to our original topic. So we started all with here. So let's go back, and this is what we started for any topic. And I also mentioned about the histogram. In histogram, if you wanted to add the reference line, you can add it. So that also we'll see how we can do that. So this is the histogram. Let's say with group we have, and let me take an example with group with the fitted one. And let's say you have a two supplier. Let's say you wanted to do that, and now you have that value, right? Example. So in this value, you wanted to have some tolerance and all that, right? So how to do that? So camshaft example, we can take it of supplier one and supplier two, and let's do that also as well, right? So go to file, go to open worksheet, and then you can click here, camshaft one, open up. So the supplier one and data and supplier two data has been found, right? Let's presume that we have the setting like this. So let's keep that target as 600, and tolerance is 0.1 or just 1 right? So that means we expect to have LSL should be 599 and USL should be 601. Let's see whether we can get that. one, right? So what I'm doing it graph and going to histogram, and this has two suppliers. So I'm gonna click on with fit and group, okay, and I'm going to do that supplier one, supplier two, and then here is the magic, right? So let's say that I'm just giving it here. Let me just complete here, then I can explain that. Yeah, so let's say this is the limit, right? But you wanted to have only one tolerance, 59, let's say anything with 599 to 601, right? So how to do? You can right click and add a reference, right? So Y reference, let's say you want 599. If you just give that 599, sorry. So I have added in X axis, so that's we need to add in Y axis. So 599, like it has added in 599, right? So let's say you wanted to add one more reference, like at 601, you can do, or you wanted to add one more line or 600, right? Sorry, 600. So like this, we can have, let's say you wanted to stretch the tolerance, you can still do that. For example, let's say you don't want like this, you can delete altogether. And let's say you want now you wanted to go with 2 mm tolerance, right? Right click here and add, and you have a reference line. And here, let's say you want to start with 598 and then 600 and 602. So it gives it beautifully, right? So and then we can know that okay, anything going this side, we can get to know very easily that this is outlier. Anything like this is an outlier. All that. This is also one of the easy way, and prove that the access control you can do a lot in this one. Let's say even this value also, if you wanted to stamp, let's say this has been done in different batches, like example. So still you have a option to control it, right? For example, let's say you want scale in the scale, let's say this is in the frequency, if you percentage, you can do that. Not only that, you can also do that in the multiple graph. You have overlaid. This is when you say multiple, this is overlaid by default. And still you wanted to keep it the bin, if you still you can do that. So these are multiple options we can get it here. I hope you find this basic information useful. Please do like, share, subscribe channel. You have wonderful